Hey everybody, Backyard Professor here. I have a very cool and exciting announcement to share with you guys. There's an opportunity that has arisen that I think there's going to be a lot of you who will want to take advantage of this, because in the past, when I have expressed or shared some information on my daughter's fantasy writings, you have expressed high interest in it. Well, she has a new project, and it is involving this fabulous book, her very first book, Miss Mabel's School for Girls. Now, and I know this is going to come across as fatherly bias. I get that. Yeah. I honestly, I have so much difficulty reading fiction. I'm into the nonfiction. I mean, come on, I've showed you my library, but I have had Katie on my channel and discussing her story and her hopes and dreams and her successes. And she really has something going on that I want to share with you and potentially get a lot of you involved. I'm involved with it, and I couldn't be more proud of her for doing this. She has upped her game, and it is fun to be involved. So without further ado, I am going to share this with you. This is her Kickstarter, and I will put a link to this in the description. This is her Kickstarter page. And let me play this quick intro video from Katie, and you can hear from her yourself what she is up to and how to get involved if you are interested. I definitely am doing this. So here we go. Just a minute. It's a 2-minute video.
Hey everybody, it's author Katie Cross, and I am so excited to bring you Miss Mabel's School for Girls Deluxe Illustrated Kickstarter only special edition of my first ever YA fantasy novel. This beautiful piece of work, launched 10 years ago, March 27th, 2014, began the onslaught of Alcara, which is a medieval young adult fantasy world that I write a lot of books in. I have over 55 titles, and this is one of the first places that you can start. Not only is it illustrated by the talented and infamous Lila Saivalainen, who did our Bianca the Brave children's book, by the way, but we have chapter headings, we have 2-page spreads, we have single-page spreads, and we have a beautiful foil cover designed by the one and only Jenny Zemanek, who also did the covers for Cassandra Clare's recent Kickstarter. She is a rock star, just like Lila. We literally have the best team ever pulling this together for you, and we have lots of different rewards and tiers that you can choose from. You can choose to buy just the hardcover, you can get a signed hardcover, and you can get a personalized signed hardcover. If you want to go a little more bougie, we also have a hardcover that will come with a special note in a slipcase with black foil on the outside. They are beautiful. I can't wait for you to see them. We're working with the most amazing production partner, Influence, to bring all of this together today, and I couldn't be more excited. If you have any questions, check out our FAQ question or send me an email, katie@kcrosswriting.com. I'll be here every single step of the way. If it's too much for you, don't worry. You can back for $5 or $1, and that gets us higher backer counts and more likely to fund. Not only that, but we have smaller tiers if you want to try it out first. You can get the ebooks, you can get the audiobook, and try those out before you go into the hardcover. This will be the only place that you can buy these hardcovers. So I hope you back today. Please help us bring this project into the world.
So there it is. And I am excited. I am excited because I like to think, she hasn't said so, but I like to think I might have been partially influential in getting her to start taking this direction with her books, illustrating them, find an illustrator, find a way to give these books even more punch than they have. Now, I'm going to confess, I was dubious when I began reading this book. And I'm not trying to, it has nothing to do with my daughter's skill at writing. She is sensational, but I have so much trouble doing fiction or fantasy. And so I read this book. I began to read this book, and it's for most her target audience is young adults. I couldn't put it down. I told her, I said, all right, give me the rest of it. Give me the rest of it. I want the whole series. And this is book one in the network series. And so I got the next one and I read it. And I got the next one and I read it. And I got the next one. And I am so impressed. She has some genuine, oh, wow, gotcha moments in her story. You think you're going to second guess her. You think, oh, all right, yeah, this is how it's going to work. I mean, it's so obvious. And then comes that little kink, that little curve that just sits you back in your seat. There was one point where I just couldn't help it. I sat back and just laughed because it was so spectacular. And then there was another part in the next book that was an absolute shock. It was just a revelation how she put it together. Very excellent writer. I know I am probably a biased father, but genuinely as a critique for her as a fantasy author, I'm impressed because she's gotten me to read her fantasy books, not because she's my daughter, but because, and I told her that. I said, well, Katie, I'm not a fiction reader. Please don't be offended if I don't ever read your stuff. I support you. I'm cheering you on. Yeah, go girl, go. And she said, oh, Dad, no problem. Here, just read this first one. Do me a favor and just read the first one. So I did. And bam, I wanted the second. And the story continues. I go, oh, bam, I got to have the third. And in every volume, man, just fantastic. So that's my assessment of her. Now, let me get back on. I wanted to just share a little bit more information about what she's doing. She's got $9,545 pledged of the $12,000 goal. It's got to be done in 18 days. And so what we're all doing is we're getting behind her and we're saying, okay, let's get this. You won't be billed unless we get to the $12,000 goal. So you can go ahead and make a pledge. And if we fall short of that, then you won't be billed. You won't. I think, if I understand that, yeah, this is all or nothing. This project will only be funded if it reaches its goal by Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. And I know we can do it. I know you can help us. It is a spectacular project. She is an award-winning fantasy author without question. Alcara was expanded to over 50 titles. It's earned the bestseller and award winner status. It is fantastic. She is such a fabulous storyteller. So they're working together for this deluxe illustrated edition, and we want to party together. The illustrations, look at this. Look at that illustration. I mean, that is just exquisite. And each illustration has a unique and special image created for that part of the tale. I'm looking very forward to seeing her illustrations. Look at this one. This is the talented and world-renowned Lila Savalanen. She returns to breathe to life all the full-page spreads, the chapter images, maps, and more. Look at this pencil sketch. Or is this charcoal? I don't, but wow, what a fantastic illustration for her excellent medieval fantasy story. I loved it. The second I saw this, I said, yep, she's got the right illustrator. And Jenny Zamanek, she has created the covers for all of Katie's books, and she is just splendid. She is just good. Katie has worked her butt off to put together the best of the best visuals for the eyes, words and verbal for the mind. easy on the eyes, easy to read, fantastic story. You could read this to your kids. Your teenagers can read it with each other. It's just fantastic. There's map end pages. She's got an extra illustration. She's got an exclusive short story. She does a lot of that, the exclusive short story, and she's very, very good with short stories as well. I mean, this girl really knows how to put together fantastic stories that make you think, help you enjoy your time with her in her book. The reviews have been outrageous. There are a lot of twists and turns in this story. I will vouch for this reviewer. This isn't me, but I agree. There's a lot of twists and turns in the story, and that's what made it, for me, so exciting. I'm right here in case I hope you can see that. I'm highlighting the area that I'm reading. There are a lot of twists and turns in the story. So far, it's far away from cliche and predictables. I'm telling you, whoever this reviewer is, I exactly concur with that. I thought I had it figured out at one point. I say, okay, well that was okay, Kate. And then all of a sudden the twist and the turn, and it just took my breath away. It was fabulous. I was quite impressed with the originality, the characters, the intriguing mystery and plot twists. That is how I would have written a review had I written a review. If you like fantasy or young adult fantasy, magic, inspirational stories, this book is definitely for you. I love this one. I'll be damned. This is a rollicking fine book. I love that one. Look at this one. Another review, an interesting fantasy story from a beginner novelist. Now, this was Katie's first book. It's a fantasy tale, my friends, a story about a young girl wanting to apprentice under a teacher, a special teacher, all with the goal of having a decades-old family curse removed. And here is a very interesting take. Sure, we had a glut of wizard-like school stories ever since J.K. Rowling racked up billions of dollars with her Hogwarts stories. With their popularity, of course, hundreds of inspired writers are going to follow in her footsteps, but few will actually make the grade. This author, Katie Cross, in my opinion, has succeeded. It's an original story on many levels. And this is another really good review that resonates with me as well. These all do. A roller coaster of a novel, and I loved every minute. Yeah, true story. Here's finally another review. The characters were captivating. The magic was spellbinding. I love that. The magic was spellbinding. Yeah, you'll see. You'll see. 3,449 reviews, and it's a 4 3/4 star story and book. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this. You sincerely don't. She has 65 books to her credit. I mean, she writes a book a month. The woman is phenomenal, and I'm very blessed that she's my daughter, and I'm very proud of her. And as her father, I'm very happy to pitch in and participate and share with you guys a really cool opportunity. Sometime in your life, sometime during your life, you're going to want to just leave me alone. I want to be by myself. I want to read a good book. I want to curl up and read a good book. I don't want the phone calls. I don't want to have to travel. I don't want to visit. I need a week off just for myself, hedonistically, very selfish. We all do this, so it's not a crime. Just give me a good book to read, would you? Backyard Professor delivers. There it is. There's your good book. And I promise you're going to want her others after you read through this one, because, man, amazingly, it is not like the sequel of a movie. It just keeps getting better grander, larger, with more twists and turns and plots, and just it's pretty spectacular. So good opportunity for us all. I just wanted to take a brief moment and say, hey, come and check this out. I really don't think you're going to regret it at all. I'm thrilled for it. The books will be delivered in August. They are processing them. They're trying to get it all worked out. There's a lot of details to this that I had no idea existed. And so we're to the point now to where we need to do the pledges. So please, if you want to do something good for yourself, or if you have a teenager, and I know her target audience is young adults, 17 to 28-year-olds, basically. And yes, there's female heroes and characters in this story as well as men, but both sexes, men and women, boys and girls, are going to find something in these books. They are spectacular. Never in my life did I imagine I would say, hey, I actually really enjoy a young adult fiction / fantasy series of books. There's no way. If you'd have told me that when I was a teenager, I would have guffawed at you. There is no way. I was too busy reading Einstein and stuff like it and skateboarding. But here I am. And I'm saying, son of a gun, there it is. I'm fortunate that this is my very own daughter. But the story is absolutely pure gold. So come and join us in the fun. Come and get to know Katie. She does have meetings where she gets together with her readers in person, talks, they gab, we have coffee, share cookies, share stories, invent new plots, etc. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of energy. Katie has worked very hard for over a decade to put together the very best teams, not just in writing, but in proofreading. Teams of critiquers who make sure there are no really bad or any holes in the story. Critiquers who are real with her and say, yeah, that won't work. Throw that out. There goes 60 pages and 4 days of work. So what? She works together so well with her team. She's been doing so for a decade that the quality of her texts really shows that she's dedicated to giving us not just stories, not just invented fantasies, but a way of finding a benefit in our own lives that we can turn around and pass on to others, because what she's writing about is right, even in the middle of the grossest wrong or the grossest evil, if you will. And it's breathtaking. Come and join us and see what I mean. You won't regret it, man.